What's up? My name is Alex, I work for Run for Cover Records, and on this week's Off the Radar we've got Nick Steinhardt, who's a designer. Nick is extremely talented in all aspects of typography. He's worked with people such as Selena Gomez, Britney Spears. He's also the guy who did the artwork for the new Death Heaven album. Nick also plays in the band Touche Amore, and on their recent tour with AFI, I got to sit down with him while they're in Boston. So here it is, the second episode of Off the Radar.
A video I'm really into is called Mound, and it's by an artist named Allison Schulnik. She normally does these giant, massive paintings that are really heavily, the technique's called impasto. It's where the paint is laid really, really thick on the canvas. She does it so extremely that it's really sculptural. And she also does some actual sculptures that she's animated. And this film called Mound is kind of like a music video, but not really. It's like a choreographed piece of all these different clay characters all doing kind of a choreographed, synchronized dance. The clay is kind of marbled. That's kind of her style with her paint as well. And it's like they're dancing and melting and reforming all at the same time. And there's hundreds of characters. I ended up being able to go to one of her open studios before she shipped an exhibition to New York and got to see the whole set. And I guess it took about 8 months in the making of filming it and choreographing this whole thing. But it was pretty amazing, kind of orchestrating your own little cast of characters instead of a group of people. I couldn't necessarily say one book I'm really into, but maybe kind of a category that I collect, because I like to reference a lot of vintage or older things as inspiration rather than stuff that's currently going on, because it ends up kind of being so regurgitated because of the internet. There's so much oversaturation of everything. Everyone's ripping off each other. I like to look towards older sources. So I look at a lot of old books of vintage printed ephemera, turn of the century lettering, some like European travel posters, and kind of things from the 1800s to maybe middle of the 1900s. There's one really cool one that I can't remember the name because I think it's in Polish, but our tour manager, this guy Christoph that we tour with a lot in Europe, he came to LA for a vacation and he brought me this book of vintage Polish printed ephemera, and they have a really rich history of movie poster design specifically. And that was a really cool gem to find, especially because it's from a small, unique kind of Polish museum publisher, and it's something, you know, you can't just get on Amazon. You can't find it in a bookstore and be, oh, I'll order it online later. It's, you know, really unique. You have to find it. The artist I was going to talk about was actually Allison Schulnik, who was the animator. Her boyfriend, Eric Yahnker, is a really amazing artist. They went to Cal Arts together, which is the school I went to. They went there years before I did, but he does these really massive photorealistic pencil and colored pencil drawings. Like, they could literally fill the size of a wall, like 8 feet by 8 feet. And they're really humorous. Like, they're these kind of funny one-liner political cartoon kind of things, but they're really meticulously rendered. And you're staring at this giant photorealistic colored pencil drawing saying, yeah, this might be a one-liner, but this guy must have spent months rendering this thing. And it kind of forces your attention and forces you to kind of analyze why. And I think that's a really cool part about his art, because it's put in a gallery context that's so kind of hoity-toity and, you know, whatever, but it's really, really funny, but you almost can't argue with it. It's so well done. As far as kind of music I've been into, there's a label called Triangle Records, and they put out a lot of UK electronic artists. It's really like austere, kind of blends the lines between R&B and ambient, dark electronic. It's kind of slow and pulsing. I mean, there's a variety of artists, but they all kind of fall into this weird blurred lines that I have to look through 18 different sections at a record store to even try and find this stuff. Wholly Other is one of the artists that's my favorite. He has an EP called With You. Yeah, it's just really like sensual, kind of pulsing, minimal ambient electronic stuff. Not too far from something like Burial, let's say, but it's just really inventive, and there's these minimal vocal samples. You can almost barely even tell what people are saying, but it just kind of, that human element draws you in, but then everything else is just so pulsing and weird. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things I've been into for the past couple of years. For my wild card, I was thinking of a company, kind of designer. Sorry, Elliot's bare-assed right in the back of you, so I'm getting a little distracted from seriousness. This watch company I really like. They're called Uniformwares. Just, you know, everyone's idea of like great watches and stuff are these like giant flashy Rolexes and oversized things that I'm not really into, but they do these really streamlined, minimal timepieces. Not any of them really even have numbers, but I just kind of appreciate how utilitarian they are, but they still kind of look classy and classic in a way. And I ended up finding them was looking at design blogs and I found this really amazingly designed like watch catalog, and so I was like, oh, these things look great, I'm gonna go find one.